But on the other hand,
People that don't have.
our ZBA just granted a variance to build not only the house on the line, but allow the roof line to hang over the property line.
Why?
Don't ask me why, I can't answer that. That was the house, that actual, the house wall is going on the line, and a foot of the roof will hang over.
Why? I mean,
I don't think that,
Oh, yes.
he's only doing a 6-inch overhang, was my understanding.
That was a 12-inch overhang.
He said that his builder was cutting back the overhang.
I think it's 12-inch, yeah, from 2 to 12.
so
from
some
2
of
to
them
1
overhang 6 inches?
No, it's 1 foot overhang, I'm almost positive
I think
of
it
that.
is, yeah.
Because we warned them at that meeting, you can't give them permission to put that over. If the next property owner comes in regardless of what our ZBA did and said this is hanging over, it's no good. He would have been better off to have an easement give or a piece of land 5 feet donated from the neighbor, but they granted the thing, Jim. So they didn't honor that setback either in that meeting. It was a little frustrating in there to,
So why are we even bothering with ordinances? We just turn around and order ZBA?
it's kind of the way it went at the one meeting.
Jim?
Well, in this instance, the gentleman, the families had all owned the property for a long time. They all had no intention of selling the property. So I guess that was one factor that was swayed. He had his direct neighbors come in and say that they had no issue with it. The way the lot was, there was nowhere else that he could put an addition. So the criteria were
Jim's
followed
right,
were met.
though. Sooner or later, they'll meet new neighbors.
That's right.
And sooner or later, someone will figure out, hey, this guy's house is on my property,
Yeah.
or at least hanging over my property, and then there's gonna be problems. Particularly if they don't get along
No,
well
just-
together.
You know, nobody's here forever, you know.
And it's not a matter sometimes of changing hands. Some of the greatest neighbors in the world that are friends forever, all of a sudden they ain't friends no more.
That's
Some reason or another, so.
right. I guess I don't understand how the ZBA could do that, personally.
Well, I mean, you know, I've sat on there for a while and I just, you know, frankly, I've noticed that the decision kind of seems to be made.
By whom?
Did you vote against that?
I don't think I did.
Somebody did, I thought.
I may have.
I don't
voted-
think that one was unanimous.
I voted against some things that night, but I was in the minority.
Okay.
Nobody else.
I know somebody, there was one that was, there was some dissension about one of them. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 heads that
It
night.
was me. I didn't vote no on some of it. But fortunately, I'm one person and
They just can't say no to anybody?
I-
Or what?
I don't know.
that has been my feeling. I mean,
So, I know I'm walking this a little late, is it, variance was granted to handling it over onto somebody else's property without incorporating some type of an easement?
the building is on the property line. His overhang, I think, does hang over. But like I said, I remember him saying that he had worked with his builder and it was gonna be 6 inches.
And no enforcement was put in easement or something like that? I mean, I concur with Carl that this is gonna be a problem in the future, there's gonna be a lawsuit.
Yeah.
If they see that the ZBA approved it without that, you know, that exposes you guys a little bit.
That's right.
Don't you think?
I do.
There's some liability there,
Yeah.
possibly. I mean, it's only a problem when it becomes a problem, right? When everybody agrees, it's fine.
But, you know, nothing's forever. I've seen
Good luck on that.
adults come to blows over a fence post too. so. Anyway, back to the accessory building. How are we gonna recommend rewriting this?
Put 2, 3, and 4 in it, that pretty much covers
take out our annual codes.
I don't want a height restriction at all.
I totally disagree with that.
With the height restriction, we can do that.
Would be number 4. Number 4 is the height restriction.
Accessory shall permit height for main buildings in the district. That's another district.
Which is,
For residential in a house and that stuff, I believe is 33 feet.
yeah,
You know, I don't know if many of you have been down to Algoma or not.
Yeah.
You've been down to Algoma lately?
Are you talking about that monster?
Now, do you realize, even here, that is 100% legal to do that because it's attached? All you gotta do is put the breezeway, and these pole barns can be 33 feet tall, because they're attached to the resident. So I mean, you're really not stopping anybody from doing it, you're making them build a monstrosity. And I would bet money, I'd lay 100 to 1 odds, that's what happened to that guy. He wanted to build a certain pole barn, and he was told no. Said, fine, I'll attach it to my house. Now I'll build that sucker as big as I want. And I'll bet it, I'd lay money on it. If I ever get the chance to find out, I'm gonna. But that's all they have to do is attach it with a breezeway. Okay? And then that building can be 33 feet tall. You know, it's all permitted within here, that's all legit.
if you don't have the main building on that lot. If you know, you can't attach it.
No, correct, but even if there's no building on the lot, someone builds a house on that lot, it can be 33 feet tall.
That's-
They can build a structure 33
But
feet
where
tall.
we're running into problems is where they're building a pole barn on a lot within 500 feet of their primary building. That's what happened over there.
Yeah.
So, you know, do we want 33 feet high pole barns on these little non-conforming lots? I don't think so.
But we want 33 feet houses on.
You know, that's different.
Okay.
You know, because there's somebody there, you know, it's their home, but where it's 300-400 feet from their house, you know, and then somebody comes in, wants to build a house there,
Or if there's already a house there.
or if there's already a house there. You know, I know of a case down in Whitefish Lake that, they built, tore down the old house and built a new one right beside this lady. And, she has practically zero view of the lake now, from the living room.
But that's a house going in next door.
Yeah, it was a house.
Which is
But
different.
there again, the ZBA down there, and they approved this.
I mean, that's not much different than Mr. Bill Notman's house, if you drive by and look at that. Sitting in there in the middle of it. I mean, that thing's huge, sitting right in next to those little cottages, and it was ZBA'd in, it did not fit any of the zoning.
Oh, was that a ZBA?
Oh, yeah, you got a variance, you know.
Well, anyway,
So you plan on changing this tonight?
well, no, I mean, we got to know where everybody wants to go here. You know, because we're gonna have to rewrite it. And then, you know, go over it a couple times, and then advertise it, and hold a hearing and all that. So,
Well, what's interesting, if I might, is it okay if I?
Sure.
And, you know, we started this over 3 years ago, wasn't it? And working on this, we knew that it's an evolution. And, you know, the idea was that we had all these backlots that are sitting here, nothing's happened, and create, you know, change things so that we could do this, but now it's created some other difficulties. But I think it's just a matter of, it's a living organism that you gotta continue to do some little changes to it, right? I mean, it's,
well, now, you know, if we increase the non-conformity to, you know,